One thing's true about this life. It'll test you good and proper through your time. It's what you make it, it's what others change. You'll question each decision that you make.
Tracy and the Big D, and Darren Gillis is our next guest. We're going to talk about his new music. Darren, I have to say that the song back in August, Old Man's Brew, and this one, Whiskey on My Grave, there seems to be a theme there, my friend.
Yep, certainly.
Tell us about how these songs came about, and particularly Whiskey on My Grave.
So, yeah, Whiskey on My Grave, I suppose. I actually wrote that one, I guess. It's a bit personal. That was written at one of the lowest points of my life, I guess, post-separation. I was left in Darren of Western Australia, feeling a little bit isolated and alone. So that's kind of where the saddened part of the lyrics kick in. But tough as it was, I managed to overcome the challenges, and everybody faces challenges, so I didn't try and make the song too specific. I tried to make it a little bit general so more people can relate to it. And despite the curveballs that life's thrown me, always managed to overcome and make beautiful memories along the way and keep a smile on my face. So that's where the other part of the lyrics kick in. I suppose the message is that at the end of the day, we all greet life's end, but it's important to celebrate life and reflect on it and, remember the good times, because my message is that at the end of my time on this earth, I plan to keep smiling and live it up in the afterlife, and I enjoy a bit of whiskey. And we used a combination of instruments being acoustic, banjo and mandolin and violin to add to the vibe and impact of that particular song. And it probably seems that I'm a bit of an alcoholic where it comes to Old Man's Brew. I don't actually drink that much alcohol, but I don't mind a bit of whiskey and a bit of beer. But Old Man's Brew is about my dad and his homemade brew kit. And I suppose that there's quite a few people that might relate to that. He liked to make his own. They were quite gassy. Some of them had this brown stuff that was down the bottom. At the end of the day, you had to drink them with him. He'd just tell you to mix the brown stuff around and just put it down and enjoy the drop. So we did. A lot of belching and a bit of a gut ache after each drop, but it had the same effect. He didn't mind drinking it. I'd always try and sneak off and grab something else, but he'd grab that and say, "Nah, mate, come on, have the homemade brew. Enjoy it with me." We've had quite a few good nights on his homemade brew.
Has he mastered it?
He has. He did manage to master it, but in saying that, probably one of the last drops that we had, we were out at my sister's farm. I tell you what, it was basically every sip you had, you'd be sitting there belching after each one because it was that gassy. I think he put too much sugar in it or something like that. It blew our socks off, that's for sure.
Headache and a good story in every bottle, hey?
Absolutely.
When you sit down to get these songs out, tell us a story about Whiskey on My Grave. Was that therapeutic for you, the writing process as well as the recording process?
Absolutely. There's a lot of people that have a lot of hardships in their personal lives. For me, music has provided me with so much, just the creating of it, and I use that as my outlet, and I get a lot of satisfaction out of it. There's actually quite a few songs that I've written that I probably won't record, but the process of writing down my thoughts has just been such a therapeutic process, like you say. It served as a great tool of moving forward through the hardships that I've come into contact with along life's road. It's helped me to manage those stresses that accompany it. But to see my ideas that I have when I write come to transformation in the recording studio, it provides a feeling that's quite unexplainable to those that don't understand it. The self-achievement and satisfaction that I get just out of creating something and seeing it unfold and seeing it develop in the studio is just an unbelievable adrenaline rush for me. I absolutely love it. And I suppose if people can relate to my tale along the way and enjoy the music as well, that's just a win-win for me. But it just provides so much satisfaction.
Darren Gillis, how can people follow your journey?
I'm available on pretty much all of the streaming applications you can think of, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music. I also maintain an Instagram page where you can contact me, Darren Gillis Music, and I've also got a Facebook page as well. If you want to drop us a message, feel free, or follow me along those social media platforms. I'd be more than happy to interact with you on those platforms.
Well, we might have a drink right now, hey? Darren Gillis, this is Whiskey on My Grave.
Think back on all the memories, let them take you back in time, 'cause I'm gonna misbehave. Pour whiskey on my grave.